So what's going on with you lately?
Oh, not much.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
just hiding out from everybody or what?
No, I got to talk to my mom on Saturday, man, because it was fucking Mother's Day. She lives in a different country. That's why I didn't come play.
Why are you yelling at me, man?
Because why y'all just think I'm trying to hide from you bitches? Y'all motherfuckers can pick up a phone.
Well, we all text you.
That's true. But I was on the phone, so I couldn't text back.
So you wouldn't have answered if we called.
No.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 22.
22!
22. Tonight we're talking to, this is our first,
Yeah, strangely enough.
our first out-of-state interview. This guy hails from, New Jersey?
New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah. His name is Alex Sue.
He's friends with the boys from Ute Pass, which is how he came to us.
Right. So yeah, you guys check him out. Hopefully he'll make his way out to Colorado at some point, maybe on a little tour, or he's also an actor. He might make it out in a play. You know, who knows? Talented
He's a
guy.
really interesting guy.
Yeah, very interesting kid, very young, but he's super talented.
Yeah.
Really fun to talk to. Very, has a lot to say. Good time talking to him. It was great getting to know him.
Yeah.
Super fun.
He's got a plan.
He does have a plan, so it's good to see. Of course, as always, we are sponsored by the Riff Rag.
Covering local music in Southern Colorado and beyond.
And beyond. Definitely on beyond now. Let's see what's been going on lately. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Yes.
Hope you guys had a fantastic.
Hi, Mama. Hello,
Hope you had a fantastic day of rest and relaxation. No, most moms don't get that too often, so hopefully you got that. What else? Anything else been going on? I know there's a lot of crap that's been going on, but
another shooting in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, not that there's any kind of silver lining to that, but really glad that none of those kids got hurt.
Yeah. That's a silver lining, I guess, but again.
Right. It doesn't make what happened any better. But
no, again, I mean, guy walks into a party and shoots 6 adults and then himself. Again, that's got to be a mental health issue.
Yeah. And now all these kids that witness it, my heart goes out to them, man. It's a terrible thing.
Yep.
Anything else that you've seen going on that you want to talk about?
Apparently, there's going to be a show at the new Switchbacks Stadium on the 24th of May. Some country guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that place fully built now? Well, obviously, 24th of May, that's coming up.
Yeah. They've already had a couple of preseason games in there while they're battening down the hatches and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much done.
Have you made it in there yet?
No, I have not.
No?
I have not, but I'm going soon. Of course, Victor calls me. He's all like, hey, man, I need stagehands. I'm like, yeah, well, I need a contract and a check. Motherfucker. Don't try to pull no bullshit Broadmoor World Arena shit with me, bro.
Yeah, speaking of which, all things, just dotting my I's, cross my T's. Hopefully I'll be starting a new job. Haven't heard anything as far as stagehanding goes down here. But then again, I'm not really in the loop of all the familiars. But they haven't seen a lot of shows real close or anything. I've been trying to get my name back in, see if they won't send me, to Florida or New Orleans or wherever to go do something. And I just haven't gotten any calls. So,
so the local you're in is a regional local then?
Yeah. They'll send guys anywhere between, anywhere from New Orleans all the way down to Florida. Matter of fact, I do know that they sent some guys down to or they are sending guys down to Tampa for, I believe, I want to say for WrestleMania. I'm not sure. I'm not positive it was WrestleMania.
That's over.
Okay, then it was. It was for something big that was going on there. I think it was for WrestleMania, and there was something else going on there too at the same time, around the same time. I believe they sent some guys down there. I never got a call for that. Which at that point I realized, you know, I need to, you know, maybe it's time to look for an actual career change. So we'll see what happens with this new thing. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated. We'll see how it affects our
That's sad.
recording or anything. I know it sucks, but you know, I got to do something. I can't stand, you know, sitting behind a desk at my house all day. It drives me crazy.
Matt's mixing down a brand new GPM song right now.
Awesome.
That's new.
That is new. That's good to hear too, man. Are you in the works of recording more or what?
Yeah, he just brought me some more stuff, so I'm
Good.
working on another. So it's happening. It's going down. It's going down, clowns.
That's good to hear, man. Let's see. We talked about last time. We talked about the new issue of the Riff Rag. There'll be another one coming out next week, obviously. So we'll hit that on the next one.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know, I hope you guys really enjoy listening to Alex Sue. Really cool kid. So without further ado, enjoy episode 22 with Alex
22
Sue.
with Alex Sue. We'll
Check
see
it
you,
out.
fuckers.
Alex.
Alex Sue. What's up, bro?
Not much. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Good,
How you
man.
doing?
Doing good. It's
Yeah,
night.
good.
I'm in the East Coast.
Really? Where you at?
In New Jersey. I'm in South Jersey near Philly.
Really?
Is that where you're based out of?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, wow. This is our 22nd.
22nd.
It's our 22nd episode. This is our first non-Colorado musician as a guest.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Do you have ties here at all?
I'm not really. I mean, I met Brian Morse.
You passed?
Through Reddit and like Instagram. So
Nice.
that's really the only connection I have.
Do you guys collaborate at all?
No. So we both work with the same producer. The people from Lowborn. So
There it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's the tie-in we're looking for to make sense
there's the connection. Yeah.
That's right.
to the followers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alex Sue,
Yep.
is that correct? Well, it's nice to
Yep.
meet you. My name is Brian. That's my co-host, Christian.
Nice to meet you guys.
We're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You got any plans to come out to Colorado anytime soon? Once we get this shit
I
back
don't-
opened up?
I don't have any like official plans, but I would love to visit Colorado. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you give us a little background on your, your music history? How did you get started? When, how? How's
Sure.
everything going?
Yeah. So I took like piano lessons when I was 2. I didn't.
Say it ain't so.
I tell people that and they're like, there's no way that doesn't make any sense. That age doesn't make any sense. But it's true. I think my mom
Your
took me
mom
to
was all
piano.
about it, wasn't
Oh
she?
yeah. And I even quit when I was 7. I was like, I don't want to practice anymore. I guess.
Like this?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't know what was going on with me, but I was feeling rebellious and was like, let's not do that anymore. I regret that fully because I suck at piano now.
Oh,
but I also played like saxophone when I was in 4th grade all the way till like 18. So I have a good history with that and jazz. And then I also sang ever since I was probably 6 or 5. And I started writing music when I was, I guess, 14, 15. So
How old are you now, Alex?
I'm 23 now.
23?
Jesus Christ, man.
Just a baby.
Yeah. I look young too.
So you say you've been writing since you were 14, you said?
Yeah.
Have you done albums, or do you just mainly do like the YouTube videos, or how does that work for you?
So I started YouTube when I was also 14, and I was doing covers then. I don't know what's with people on YouTube, but they like to stay. I think they like to see little kids sing, because I had pretty good views and I sucked. I'm pretty sure I sucked for most of the videos. But I also started writing as well during that time, and my freshman year of college, my roommate actually taught me how to play ukulele. I was never into guitar and ukulele because my hands they're still so small. And so whenever I try to play guitar, I'm like, dude, my hands cramp up. It's like the most annoying experience. But the ukulele, it's obviously so small.
Right.
And so I was able to learn really quickly, and I decided to produce like a ukulele acoustic album of songs that I've written. And so one of the songs that's on the album is called Respect. That was my first song I ever wrote. It was for my grandmother who passed away, and I was like 15 and I wrote that song. So I'm proud of that album because it's just like, it's pure songwriting, it's pure storytelling, and it's just me at my most raw, purest form. But it's like, it's not produced professionally, it's not mixed professionally, it is like the most like janky thing ever. And I made the cover art on like Pixar or something. It was just like, it was a fun experience just to do
Nice.
it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how do you approach that? I mean, I know you have a background, obviously you said you were a woodwind
Yeah.
for all most of your scholastic career or whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
so how do you approach your first song with, you have music theory already down, right?
Sure.
So how do you approach it as a songwriter for the first time, being so young, but with that much talent to create something with, you know what I'm saying?
It's very weird. I wish I knew exactly how I approach songwriting. But to be frank, like even when I was 14, it just came to me. Like I'll just sit there, and I used to have a box full of like notes of me like writing down the lyrics and stuff like that, very old school. And I would put them away, store it in a box. Now it's on my notes app, but I would just sit there and create melodies. And I guess like the most basic thing was to make sure there was a chorus there, to make sure things sometimes rhyme, sometimes not. I don't know. But like it was never like, there was never a way that I learned from anybody. Maybe I just learned from listening to music a lot, but it's just like, it just came so naturally. And as I got older, like 17, 18, I just fell in love completely with it, and very enamored by the idea of explaining a song just through explaining your feelings through a song and capturing that moment specifically. And like there's some things that you can't explain just by saying it, but sometimes in the song it does. And that's something that I'm really fascinated by, and I just love it. So I don't know exactly how I approach songwriting, but it just happens. I make sure there's a story. That's, I guess, the baseline.
So what do you normally pull? Where do you normally pull your inspiration from? I know like a lot of bands out there, depending on a genre of music, a lot of them might tend to pull from the more negative things that happen in their life. Some pull from more positive things. Is there anything that you tend to look for, like within your storytelling, or is it just kind of what comes to you and what becomes that melody and gets you started?
Good question. In the beginning, it was definitely my avenue of expressing like sadness, expressing feelings that I usually might not talk about randomly or like talk about out loud. So it was definitely a lot coming from my own personal experiences and personal feelings. A lot of like 90% of my songs are probably sad, or leaning towards like sadness. But lately, I've actually been able to draw inspiration from random stuff and then create stories. So, for example, I am in the works of creating this Greek mythology album where
Whoa.
I take like really famous Greek tales and sort of spin it into my personal modern storytelling, and I kind of twist the meaning of it, or twist the story of it, or the tragedies of it. So it's really cool, and I think that like it's probably the most different experience of songwriting for me as of now. But yeah, I draw inspiration from all types of avenues, but in the beginning it was definitely just like, what am I feeling right now and how can I translate it into song?
Nice. That's
That's a
a
Yeah.
very unique approach. You know what I
Thank
mean? I
you.
mean, especially for I mean, what do you could classify your music as? Because it's really straightforward pop top 40. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
very consumer friendly. It's very easy to digest and consume.
for
But
sure.
you know, I mean, you don't hear about a pop artist going, yeah, I'm going to write an album based on Greek tragedies and shit. You know what I mean?
That's actually my goal. Like, I really appreciate artists who aren't pop, and I listen to them a lot too. However, I also really do appreciate pop in itself, because I think that most people underestimate pop in a sense of, oh, it's just music that the average person listens to. And for me, I take it as it's something that's so universal that if I put a lot of meaning into it, maybe that's universal too, and
Mhm.
that just changes the definition of pop. So like, I never wanted to label myself in any direction, because I've had singles that are like pop trap almost, and then some that are like folk. Like for example, like one of my songs, Open Call, I released in November of 2020. It's probably my best performing single so far, but it's a folk pop song. It's not just like pop. And it has like these really cool trumpet interlude towards the end, where it's just like, it doesn't sound like pop. But like, my goal is always to have the story first, the lyrics first, me in it, you know, and then whatever genre it is, I try to write it the most authentic. So if like for Greek mythology, I'm thinking more of like pop rock, or
Right.
like, yeah, it's not going to be just pop,
Sure.
but it's like, it's always based on what I'm feeling about the music itself.
The way this.
That's an interesting approach from any pop artist. You know, my personal background in music, you know, I learned playing jazz.
Yeah,
What Chris and I are both bass players, but then
cool.
my playing career has always been with rock and metal and some hip hop bands and things like that.
Right.
So I've always had a different approach to music. So I think it's pretty neat to hear a perspective from somebody who's more on the pop realm, especially when you describe it as writing. You know, you come up with the melodies and the story first, and then you kind of build around that, where everything's been a lot opposite for myself anyway. You know, obviously it's my own experience, but
Right.
so I think that's a pretty interesting way. And I tend to think that that's, and I could be way off base because, you know, I haven't spoke with a lot of pop artists at all, but
Sure.
I tend to think that that's kind of how their songs are built. Um, but some of the ones that I've asked, that I have talked to and I've asked questions to, it's a lot harder to get a genuine answer, because it's not usually them writing the music or pulling from their own inspiration, that the ones that I have talked to, you know what I mean? So I could appreciate that this is coming from your own creative mind and your own, and what you're coming up with. I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I do know a lot of pop artists who aren't the sole writers or even writing the material, and they're chasing trends. And while I acknowledge like that is definitely something that happens in pop,
Mhm.
I feel like it's not, you don't have to do that, and people can find success not doing that. One of my biggest inspirations, like commercially and also just like as an image, is Taylor Swift. She is like, honestly, a really smart businesswoman, but also she's a really talented writer, and it's kind of underestimated in other realms that's not pop. And the fact that her fan base is literally insane, where like her re-recordings have topped the charts, probably one of the biggest pure album sales of this year already. It's just insane to me. And I think that that's something that you can actually tap into. And I think only she has been doing so far in the pop realm, you know?
Right.
So I kind of base myself in the same realm of that, where it's like, whatever music I create, I hope it's authentic enough where I can shift into different genres. But hopefully people do understand that it's still me, because
Right.
I write every single lyric of every song that I've written, or that I've posted and released. And I'm not the best producer, but I give ideas as well. So it's like, I'm really involved in the process.
Yeah. You know, I respect what Taylor Swift's doing with
Yeah.
re-releasing all her music, because because she lost the rights to her music, correct? And that's what it
She
was.
never had it. She never had the rights to it. She signed a contract at like 15,
Right.
and yeah, she never had the rights.
So I think that's pretty pretty brilliant on her part to turn around and say, all right,
For
I'll
sure.
just re-record it all, make sure it's mine, you know, and
For
so
sure.
pretty brilliant move on her part. Now I went back
Yeah.
and
That just goes to show you. That just goes to show you, though, man, that the underlying trends in the fucking business, man, where they take a 15-year-old kid, right, and
Yeah.
they did
It's
that to her.
brutal.
They did that to her knowingly and on purpose.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
And
So
the worst part is, for her story, like, that record label was nothing. And she she made that name huge. And now that she's trying to buy it back, they're like, nah, you have to make an album for every single old album that we already have, which is insane. Because, like, without her, there was no record label. And every music label has done that for, like, all the child stars or any musician ever. It's still happening, you know. It's like, she's not the only person. It sucks. It's actually crazy.
yeah, that's why they want you to bring your parents and not a lawyer.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So I went back and I listened to some of your ukulele stuff, and
Yeah, he said you do some killer Taylor Swift uke covers.
I do. I
yeah,
do.
I really like I listened to Cardigan. I really like that, and
Thank you.
it's not a song I'm particularly would know just off of hearing, even on the radio. Like a lot
Sure.
of Taylor Swift stuff, you know, obviously I think everybody on the planet would know who
Right.
it is, but that's not one in particular I would know. But I really love the version you did of it, and it you know, I don't know. I was thoroughly impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
So would you think is ukulele, is that your main instrument, or?
It kind of is, and like, I feel like it once I learned it. So I learned ukulele in 2017, and I learned it within 1 week. Like, just chords, basic chords, and within that same year I released Me and Uke. Somehow I like just was able to play, and it feels like since then ukulele has been something that really brings my voice in a different level too. I feel like whenever I play with the ukulele, the levels just match out, and like the tone of it fits.
It's a timbre thing, right? It's a timbre
Yeah,
thing.
and I haven't experienced that with any other instrument thus far, like guitar as well. Like, it's just, it sounds different, and I'm like, I want produce songs, but performing it, I might always be inclined to choose a ukulele.
Yeah.
But that's
Nothing wrong
for
with
now.
that.
That's for now. Yeah,
It's a mainstream instrument anymore, man.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
that's true.
It hasn't been this popular since, you know, the 60s.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Do you have any particular ukulele artists that you like to listen to?
That's crazy. I don't even know any ukulele artists. Like, that's the worst part. Like, I probably should start looking into it, but like, ever since I learned ukulele, all I thought was, oh, let's write music, instead of like, I like the sound of ukuleles. It just, for me, it became like an instrument that I can only play to write music. So I never really had a chance to. Do you have any suggestions?
Oh,
I would
I
love
do.
to.
I do.
Jake Shimabukuro.
Yeah, you've got to
You
check
know,
him out.
yeah, for
He
sure.
he'll blow you away. I mean, he's of the
Ooh.
technical style. I mean, that guy is he's incredible.
Yeah.
And of
cool.
course, man, I'm half Hawaiian, man. So anybody
Oh,
who
really?
traditional Hawaiian music,
Yeah.
them guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
The
they
plucking
do it
is
right.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
right.
sure. Yeah. I'm still the chords guy at the moment.
So going along with that, how do you continue to evolve your craft, whether no matter what it is, whether it's singing, playing, producing, whatever it is? How do you continue yourself moving forward?
Yeah. I think it feels like a natural progression. When in the beginning, when I was like 18 releasing stuff, I never thought of like, oh, let me continue evolving. I was just like, I just want to write, because before, like I said, I only had a box full of ideas, and it never came to like a musical sort of like produced, finished sound in my head. And so for like 2 years, I think all I did was write. And now I am starting to try to evolve my craft in terms of my singing capabilities. I think that is still a weaker aspect of my just overall craft, and as well as creating concise stories, better stories, having better melodies, having better things. Like, I'm always constantly on the move, thinking about how to improve. But there's no like specific way to approach that either. I'm a very just a spark kind of guy. Like, I go for things randomly, and hopefully it sticks. And there's like once I stick a routine in my head, I'll start to get bored of it. So I'm just hoping to maintain like freshness and like the passion is still there, you know. But I am constantly trying to evolve for sure.
Right.
So let me ask you, does that less organic approach change the pace of your songwriting? So when you're doing things instead of, just writing songs for when you stop writing songs just to write songs and start to be more intentional.
Oh my God, yes, yes. Okay, so it totally slows the pace down. So, for example, before this, I was told by people to just continue releasing singles, standalones, just to see if things stick. And so I did that, and it was fine. But then I was like, I want to make an album, like not the ukulele one, like a fully produced album. And so I intentionally try to write things. And I try to, create sort of a theme around it, have a beginning and end. And it literally felt like it was work, but not in the best way. And I felt like each song was like maybe technically correct and like good, but it just did not feel anything to me. And then suddenly, like, I wasn't writing for a few months, and I got a full-time job, and I'm sitting at home remote working, and I hope I don't get fired from this, but on my free time, which is a lot, I started to write songs, and then this Greek mythology album came into head. And I'll tell you, like, only when did it start coming to mind? I think 2.5 weeks ago.
Whoa!
And I already finished 9 songs.
Wow.
Wow. That's never happened. That's never happened to me. I feel like a Greek god came down and was like, hey, like,
congratulations.
write something.
Man.
Thank you.
Very
It's
nice.
literally the craziest feeling. And yeah, I'm actually, it still boggles my mind how I did that, but it has a full story and it feels so authentic to me and it feels so good. So I would say, yes, it definitely slows the process if you're trying to intentionally write something. I kind of would hate to be an albums artist or like a huge artist that has contracts in terms of like when you have to release something new, because I just feel like that will probably be terrible,
Yeah, definitely
but
adds a
maybe I'll improve on the way I like approach things.
Well, what is it? What is the end game for you? I mean, do you see yourself as a performer, as a touring musician for the next 20 years?
I mean, I would love contracts, or like I would love a stable career that spans for a long time and I'm able to travel and tour and perform. But my ideal would probably be if I had all the creative freedom to not schedule things right to the T, where it's like, again, take Taylor Swift, like she has had for a while, like years planned in advance, which is crazy. Now she's not doing that, but before she was, because she was always trying to continue, right? I would love for me to have contracts and have set things happening, but I don't have to release something every 2 years or every 1 year, whatever. So I would love to tour for the rest of my life. I would love to travel and meet new people, places, all that. But I would also love to continue being underground and just make music for fun. I don't mind either way. I really don't.
No, you can still travel the world like that too. I mean,
exactly.
It's definitely it can be done. We've known lots of guys who've gotten to travel without being,
signed
big,
or anything, right?
Or just big hit guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
They get around. They get to travel the world. They get to see everything, and they have a blast.
So do you get to perform a lot in Jersey?
I was starting to, and then COVID happened.
Weekends at the Stone Pony and shit.
I did that like for a few weekends once, but I started to perform more, and then COVID happened. So like I did open mics. I tried to apply. So my college, every year they have a concert, and I tried to be an opening act for it, but it got canceled.
They pulled in a national.
It got canceled. They would do like Lil Uzi, a rapper, if you guys know, he performed there and like stuff like that. And there'll be events where like Pete Davidson does a stand-up comedy thing. And,
nice.
And I was always trying to like get in there, but it's hard because it's so much, like so many things and so many people. So
right. So
Yeah.
I saw on, pardon me, I saw on one of your, I think it was a link that happened to be attached to one of your emails that said something about being an actor. Are you also an actor?
I am also an actor.
Yeah.
I've been performing. It was on stage when I was also 14. 14 was probably a crazy year for me, I think. But I saw my friend do a musical called Oz, which is the black version of Wizard of Oz. And she killed it, and it made me like realize I also want to be a performer in all aspects, acting as well. And so I started doing musicals. But then I went to college and I started auditioning for short films. And that was a whole nother experience because on stage, you're really far away from the audience, right? And so all your mannerisms are kind of big and open and just like it's not normal.
Exaggerated.
It's very exaggerated. And
Yeah.
I liked it as a kid, but growing up, I would love to be more minute and like very subtle with my expressions. So in New York, I was able to be like I was casted. My first audition, I actually got it. I played a lead as a like a Korean teenager who's struggling with sexuality, and it was one of the coolest roles. I got to learn Korean. I'm not Korean, I'm Chinese. So I got to learn Korean, and I got to learn about the culture and also film, and that was really cool. And I started doing that more. And then I'm also an extra on some TV shows, so you might see me somewhere in the background.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice. So on Jenga, Jenga's obviously a lot different than your ukulele stuff.
For sure.
Do you do all the instrumentation for like Jenga? Did you do everything for that, or?
No, I did not. So the producers of Brian Morse and UPass Lowborn, they're called The Stew, and they helped me produce it because I really, if you sit me down in front of a computer and try to make things happen, I literally will go nuts. I've tried it, and it's Happy People is actually a song that I did produce for the most part, but it's not something that I'm extremely like happy with. I don't like producing. It's just not my thing. But for
a lot of true performers don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, it's just
we want somebody to capture all of that shit for us and put it back.
That's literally me. That is
the way that we hear it.
That's literally me. I'm like, just read my mind, dude. Just read. And I mean, honestly, the producers on Jenga, they kind of did that. I mean, we sat. I think they're also in Colorado. I don't remember, but no, they're in North Carolina. Yeah, so they're in North Carolina, and we just FaceTimed, or like we had a Zoom meeting for like 2 hours, and I would give like production ideas. I would give like references from other songs I want sort of like inspired by. And I would sit there and listen to them create, and I'll be like, I don't like that. I don't like that. So that was fun. Like I'm able to be like, I don't like this. I don't like that. But I can't tell you, I can't literally put it out for you. I can't do it. It's just so painful for me. And I wish I could. There's a lot of artists nowadays who are able to do that, like Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother, Love. Like they sit in the bedrooms and they create. And I'm like, that is a goal. I just don't know if I can do it yet. Not right now.
Chris and I literally just had this conversation yesterday,
Really?
just yesterday, about he was talking about his approach to the singing he's doing on his new album and everything, and it came the exact same thing. That's funny.
Yeah. It's just there's two sides of music. I mean, maybe back then it's a lot of like live instrumentation as well, which is probably much better. But nowadays, because you can do so much more, there's now two sides. One is very technical. It's very digital and very technical. And then the other aspect is the soul of it, is like the actual lyrics and the interpretation of it and everything like that. And I feel like I fall on that side way more than the technical side. And I wish I could balance myself out, but it's just, that's a process that I will learn. I'll try.
It took me a long time to master recording vocal tracks in an analog fucking studio on a 2-inch Studer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a long time to fucking learn how to get the most out of that.
Yeah.
And now I got to figure it all out again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always going to be, it's going to keep changing, honestly.
Right.
And the best part for me is like, if I don't like the production or something, after a while, I'll be like, well, it's the producer's fault. I can't blame myself, because right now I can't listen to my own like songs I produce. I'm just like, what
And
the hell?
there's another reason to have a producer. I mean,
Right.
you can take some of that pressure off yourself.
Yeah.
And blame somebody else.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Not that you should or want to, but that happens,
No,
you know?
it helps.
Internally, at least, I'm like, okay, it's not entirely my fault. Like, yeah.
Even if you end up being completely wrong and shit, at least you can go back and apologize. But
Yeah.
at least you have that momentary outlet.
Exactly.
No, always make yourself feel better. So, who is an artist that you would most like to collaborate with?
Good question. Huh. I honestly, I'm kind of old school in that way, where I would love to have a song with Elton John, or like someone like the Eagles or something like that. Like, that'd be really cool. I feel like it might not match exactly, but I just think it would be cool to have like a legend
Right.
to record with.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
a great
like,
answer.
before they go, before stuff like that, like, it's just like before they retire, before they go, whatever the case is, I would love to just like have an imprint with them,
Yeah.
Any legend, to be honest.
Right.
At this point.
So, I feel like I know the answer to this already, but if you could open up for any artist, if you could open a show for any artist, who would it be?
I mean, of course, Taylor Swift, but like it's because her tours are crazy. Like, her tours are insane. They're huge. I would love to have a crowd like that. I also really appreciate the way Harry Styles has, like, his tours are really cool. They're very like 80s rock star vibes, but so modern, right? And so just loving unconditionally. So I feel like that crowd would be great. Just like I feel like crowds and like fan bases play a huge factor in the brand of the artist, and like I wouldn't want to surround myself with people who judge all the time. So like I would just like a really good vibe,
Nice.
Yeah. I used to work for the company that designed T Swift's stadium tour, her last stadium
For
tour.
Reputation.
All the staging.
Insane.
Yeah, so.
It's probably the big, like, there's like 100-foot like digital screen. Like,
it was probably
absolutely
like
insane.
20 trucks of steel and 20 50 trucks of production.
I went to the MetLife Stadium to watch it in New York, which is like New Jersey, but New York Giants, so that's where they play. And when I got there was like 20 trucks in the back, and they were all Taylor Swift trucks. And
that's just her production. That's none of the staging. That's none of the steel stage.
She's dedicated to having experiences, and I think that's so smart. I mean, especially if your music does have weight to it and does have authenticity to it, like, it's literally, that's the dream.
She's lucky enough to be able to have that kind of a budget to tour.
For sure. And I mean, a lot of people do have the budget too, and I feel like they also don't use it for that because they want to keep more money, because it kind of is out of your pocket for a little bit, like in terms of the budget of the set. I would assume for her, because I feel like hers would be over budget for any like record label to be like, I'm not putting that much money into it.
Well, it's a strange thing, because I mean, you'd think a lot of artists would pay themselves off of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I remember when I did both of the summer sanitarium tours with Metallica. And they used to bank like $2 million a night. In merchandise.
Yes.
Just merchandise.
That makes sense.
So they could afford to, take a less of a nightly payment, to spread that money around for bigger opening acts, to spread the experience to the end consumer. You know what I mean? And it's like,
do you think did they do that? Do you think Metallica did that?
They did. They did the second time around. The first time around, I don't feel like they did. But
okay,
first time around they were drinking, right?
Yeah.
The second time around, They had all gone sober. They were making that fucking movie with that fucking psychiatrist and shit, right?
Oh
So
my God.
that second tour was a whole completely different experience where none of the opening acts could even be inside of the stadium, have a dressing room inside of the stadium. They were all in trailers outside because, you know, Metallica didn't want to see anybody partying. They didn't want to be around partying.
Wow.
And I get it. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. It's a business. It's also like, it's experience for the consumers to continue loving your music.
Right.
You know, like having a really memorable tour and memorable live event really,
Right.
I think really like secures a fan's interest and also love for you. And it's like, if you're making money in the first place, it's because of them. So it's just like the most give and take thing.
Right. But production wise, they spent fucking shit tons of money on that tour, right?
I love
and
that.
It was a fucking incredible experience for anybody who bought a ticket to either Summer Sanitarium 1 or Summer Sanitarium 2. You know what I mean? And they made it up on the back end by fucking selling $2 million of fucking merch a night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There we go.
Be smart about it. But fucking give the most for the people that are fucking buying a ticket.
There for you, yeah, because you know that those people are there for you and they will die. Like they're here for you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole point. It's like I think there's a saying possibly where it's like the more you give, the more you get, sort of thing. You know, it just makes sense. You know, it's just like the more you invest in it, the more you get out of it, whatever the experience is. You know.
Well, I hope it all comes back, man, so that you can go on the road and then Brian and I could maybe get back to our fucking day jobs and shit.
There we go. Yeah.
So do you have any kind of plan coming out of the pandemic for, I don't know where you guys are at in Jersey. But for coming out of it, you got any kind of plan for your stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, geographically, I'm trying to move to New York City. I was going to move to California, but I had a car accident happen in August, so like that plan completely got derailed, literally. And so now I am planning to move to New York City. My job is at the World Trade Center. I somehow landed a full-time job like in that area, which is crazy, but it's definitely not where I'm not gonna settle there for sure. Even if I go broke, I'm just trying to collect money, save money so I can invest in my music career and also just acting and stuff like that too. And then I am also right now, I just got signed with an acting manager. So I'm constantly auditioning and I'm constantly making music. So hopefully I'm able to create plans of like releasing stuff and also marketing it as well. Awesome. So that is my plan. It's all loose still, but it's not like, it's something I'm looking forward to.
You've been creating content for quite a while now. Have you been able to monetize yourself a little bit? You know,
yeah, I mean,
just to help yourself with costs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely will say right now it's obviously a sunk cost, I guess, like where it's like it's definitely you're putting in more money than you're getting.
Sure.
But I am monetizing for a bit. Like me and you actually probably make the most money because back in 2017, people still bought iTunes albums. Like they still bought it. Some of them did. And so that was the last thing that I ever did where it actually made a lot of money. Not a lot, but like enough where I'm like, oh, there's money. And then there's still some streaming is a hell, like in terms of small musicians, like it's literally like nothing, right? But I mean, there is a few bucks to be made there. And I also just started merch. I like created merch very simply. I just put my album art and cover arts on things and sell it and put it online on stores, and so that's going well. But I just started that, so yeah, I mean, there's a little bit.
We're gonna put up all the links to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you send us whatever links you want. We'll put it all in the description.
Sure.
I was under the impression that you were like a Denver artist or something.
Oh no,
but you know what? It's really cool that you're on our show all the way in New Jersey, so we really appreciate it. You're our first out-of-state guest.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we're normally we call this a Colorado cast, and but it's fine. I mean, we're
but you have a 6 degree of separation with your connection to you guys.
Right.
So you get
there we go.
Yeah, and if
you're pretty much almost a semi-native. So
there we go.
Yeah, if you know anybody out there that ever wants to get on, just have them contact me, and
I definitely will. Yeah, for sure.
Set up for sure.
And if you want to come through town, or if you want to come book shows or whatever,
Yeah.
you're gonna have our contact information. We can help you.
Oh, and
Where are you guys? Are you guys in Denver?
Colorado Springs.
Oh, cool.
And just so you know, even if you
we're the D market, 70 miles south of Denver. But
if you come through,
we do shit down here.
If you come through as an actor,
Yeah.
Christian and I have been in.
We do a lot of Broadway.
Yeah, we do tons of it. So if you ever come through like that, let us know, man. And
that sounds great. Yeah, I would love to see you guys.
Yeah,
in person.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you got, Christian?
So yeah, okay. So again, I mean, like I said, we've not been fortunate enough to have very many Asian artists.
Nope.
And since Asian people have been in the news lately, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole thing, because I have my own thoughts on it. But the whole thing with violence against Asians, and if you've experienced any of that, especially you're in Jersey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in Jersey, you know what I mean? Do you get to the city a lot? Are you experiencing that?
Fortunately, like I didn't experience any I didn't experience anything directly to me during this whole thing, except for one time. So a crazy thing is when COVID happened, well, not when COVID happened, when everything shut down in March, it was my spring break, and I actually went down to New Orleans. And the day that we landed was when Trump was like, everything is shut down, including Bourbon Street. So we didn't even get to see Bourbon Street at its like liveliest. I mean, I guess we should have known. Also, we were like, we already booked the trip. Let's just do it before anything crazy happens. Because there were like small murmurs about it. But I remember we were walking in Bourbon Street, like it was completely empty. And I have allergies, seasonal allergies. I sneezed, into my elbow, and this white lady jumped 5 feet back towards like a building almost, and like that was it. But I looked at her, I was like, you're literally insane. But I mean, I understand also like I can see that being an issue, but like I wasn't near her. I wasn't even near her. I was like pretty far away, because we all also were keeping distance. So it was just like, that was the only thing that I've ever really experienced. But I do know like other people, whether it's family or friends, like they've definitely encountered something, whether it's something that's very subtle or it's something very blatant. I mean, it's all there. I feel like Asian Americans experience racism in a very subtle microaggression kind of way, where it's like either they'll try to compliment you too, and it's like, it sounds just off, or it's a subtle thing that they say. Where it's not a big deal. Right. And I think we've definitely been conditioned to sort of take that and be okay with anything, because it's not that big of a deal. You're not getting hurt. You're not getting
So have you ever ran into any of it, even
prior
to it being newsworthy shit?
Yeah, I mean, like what my hometown is Deptford, New Jersey, and it's very white. It's not very diversified. So I remember like growing up definitely feeling different, and also people saying I'm different. But there was just one moment that I don't even know if it's racial or not, but we were at like it was recess. It was like probably like 3rd or 4th grade, and some guy, I knew him but didn't know much of him, but he like licked his hand and like wiped on my face, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say it's racially motivated. He's a kid, but
maybe
it was just
bro.
a weird, But the worst thing was the chaperone or whatever. She was like, "Why did you do that?" And then didn't ask me how I felt. And I was like, "Can I go to the bathroom or something?" And she was like, "To do what?" I was like, "To wipe my face off." Like, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, I'm completely confused. But she was like more like attentive to the guy. And I was like, that's very weird. Like that's something that's kind of weird. But yeah,
only my mom puts her spit on my face, bro.
I don't even think she does. I've never had that, like a whole palm too. Like that's insane.
Oh, shit.
But that's really it's just ingrained in my brain, because that's like one of my first memories as a elementary school kid.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that we're batting 1,000 right now by you being our first pretty Asian guest.
Yeah.
And you're not having to deal with any of that bullshit. So that's awesome.
I really do think there's a whole correlation to entertainment, right? So like the fact that we didn't see many Asian Americans or any POC leading films, leading in music, it's like we always get to see them as either a caricature or like a stereotype or not at all. So it's never like, it's not in anyone's
I for one am very surprised that some fucking Korean Ajumma just won a fucking Oscar and shit. You know what I mean?
Yo, she literally, and I mean the movie was great and she did great, but never would she have ever gotten a nomination like 5 years ago.
Oh, not even.
Let alone maybe like 3 years ago, even like it's insane. It's insane. In the best way possible, you know?
Right.
And like one of my biggest dreams is to have a production company where I'm always making films that are like, it's not about racial or anything like that. It's just stories that have not been told. And I feel like Hollywood has been saying the same stories and rehashing the same stories and even remaking classics that don't need to be remade, you know? So it's like, I want to be able to create new stories for the masses to hear. And then same for music, like growing up, I listened to like Chinese artists like as a child because my parents did, but there was not one single person that looked like me performing live or whatever the case is, right? And that's definitely a goal as well, is to have someone that's fully Asian American or fully proud of it and doing that. Because I even like a lot of artists nowadays who are half Asian don't ever claim it. Like Nicki Minaj, Bruno Mars, her, they all are part Asian. They do not claim it. They don't claim it, and which is fine. They don't have to claim anything, to be honest. But like, it's
I think I remember maybe once or twice seeing a picture of Bruno wearing a Filipino flag around his neck and shit.
It's just like you are half that, right? Like there should be something.
Half
maybe like
is a lot.
I know it's half of your identity. Like I would think that there's something that's going to be shown, you know. But it's okay, I guess. But I would love for that to change. And yeah.
I tell you what, Alex, awesome. you have a pretty unique, a unique way of thinking about the arts and things like that. So with that said, should you ever go out and become like the next, you know, big director or something, you remember these two guys right here, man. Call us up and
you guys are great.
If you need two old fucking metal bass players for anything, man, we're your guys.
We are your guys.
Definitely. You guys are bassists, right?
Yep.
Really cool. Really cool.
I play a few instruments, but bass is certainly my forte. So
nice. What other instruments do you play?
I know.
Well, I play guitar.
Cool. Yeah.
That's really it. I played a little piano when I was younger, but I haven't really messed with that in years. So
yeah, I understand that.
It's just fumbling through it. But no, I play bass and I play guitar.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. Allowing me to ask you those questions, man, because
for sure,
right?
You know,
absolutely.
But you know what? This is going to bring us right into what we like to call the lightning round.
This is it.
Oh shit! Okay.
All right, Alex. So what this is Christian and I, we're going to ask you 5 questions. We'll each take turns.
Sure.
This is kind of like a Rorschach test. So whatever, just give us the first answer that comes to your mind, and and there'll be these 5 questions. You ready?
Okay.
All right. You want to start, Christian?
Sure.
All right.
All right, Alex. How do you feel about meat cones?
Meat cones?
Meat and cones.
I've never heard of it, but I would be down to try it.
Okay. Describe the color yellow to someone who is blind.
Beautiful, bright. One of those.
Nice.
Good.
If Germans were the tallest people in the world, how would you prove it?
Whoa! If Germans were the tallest people in the world, how would I prove it? I don't know. Make them wear a hot dog costume.
That's an interesting answer.
Nice.
That's the first thing I thought of. I don't know why.
Okay. Name 5 uses for a stapler with no staples.
Pinching people.
Nice.
Hitting intruders. Holding onto things. It's like a little claw.
Nice.
Decor. That's a great, like paperweight thing. No one uses that anymore. And lastly, a bat. If you open it.
Nice. Very good.
And finally, if you were a pizza delivery man, how would you benefit from scissors?
What? Okay, if I was a pizza delivery man, how could I benefit from scissors? You know, wow. I would cut like a pretty decent sized hole in the box. Eat a few slices and then show up and be like, here you go. And they'll only think that it just came out of the box and not me stealing it. That's what I would say.
Good
Thanks
job,
for
good
playing,
job.
man.
Wow, thank you. That was some interesting questions. I've never heard of those.
All right, so Alex, why don't you tell the people out there where they can find you? Again, whatever you tell them, you can send me the links. It'll also be in the description. But go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram on Alex Sue Official, and then Twitter is official Alex Sue. It's backwards. And then YouTube, you can search my stuff up, Alex Sue, and also TikTok, Alex Sue Music. I am starting to use that more. And check out my latest single, Jenga.
Nice.
Excellent.
Alex,
cool.
thanks so much for coming on, man.
Yeah,
Thank
you very much. We really enjoyed having you on.
I love being here. This is great.
And
we wish you the best of luck, man. And
thank you.
We hope to see you in all kinds of shit everywhere soon.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. That's the plan.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And be in touch. I'll be talking with you soon.
Sure.
We'll definitely go through email, and I'll get you the link to this, whatever it's going to be posted. It'll be 2 weeks from today.
Cool.
We just posted an episode today, so this one should come out in about 2 weeks.
Awesome.
But we'll stay in touch. Send me the stuff you want me to put up. And again, thank you so much, Alex. We really appreciate it. I had a great time talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You bet.
All right.
You have a good night, all right?
You too.
Peace.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That was a great interview.
I think so too, man. I think
He was a great guest.
right.
I got to ask some good questions because, so that was our interview with Alex Sue from New Jersey. He's a bright young kid, man. And, I threw a hard ass question in there for him too. Cause I figured he'd have a little bit more insight than people that don't live in the general area where that kind of shit is going on or prevalent.
Right.
But anyways, we're going to check out one of his songs now.
Yeah, that's right. He was super fun. Good guy to talk to. This is a song, a video for his song called Open Call. Definitely check it out. We'll be linking, I'll have his link tree in the description so you can go check out all his other social networking sites.
He does some cool ukulele covers too. So.
Yeah, he does. So if you like ukulele stuff, he does a lot of covers. Stuff obviously we can't put on here, but we're going to do one of his originals now called Open Call. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Take it easy.
Peace.
I was at the open call, 10 a.m. rushed in the door. There was such a line for you, I bet it was a bitch to choose. Then you looked me in the eye, said go on, show me what you got. So I stumbled on my speech, exposed the mediocrity. Oh no, oh no. Sat in my apartment floor, fake Chinese food and alcohol. But then I get an unknown call. You say that I just won the part, and I say, what did I do to end up with you? There are so many others, this is out of the blue. Are you sure that it's me who you're looking for? You scream, oh, I'm sure, oh, I'm sure. You scream, oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Picnic basket naked on the grass. You ask me where the champagne's at. I break down in front of you. I said this is too good to be true. One day you'll see what I see, then you won't be in love with me. But you pull me into your arms. Slow but surely I let down my guard. So many others, this is out of the blue. Are you sure that it's me who you're looking for? You scream, oh, I'm sure, oh, I'm sure. You scream, oh, I'm sure.